It's another week and another brand new episode here on the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm your host, RubyLynne. Before we go too far, make sure you hit the follow and tap that bell so you never miss an episode, because you just never know what you're going to hear on this show. If you'd like to follow me, your host, you can go to rubylynne.bio. That's rubylynne.bio. This week's guest, I am excited to learn more about. I want to know how it's been being successful, wildly successful at the height of the pandemic, coming into this industry, and then stepping away to take care of some family issues. Now she's back. I want to know, what's it like re-entering this industry after the pandemic windfalls? So help me welcome piperpress. Piper, I'm so excited to have you on the show this week. Thanks for making the time, especially on a weekend, to be on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I have been following you for a little bit, and I just love your story about, your comeback in 2024. And I have to say, you have an amazing PR team. They sent me so much good information, and I learned a lot. But I am really excited to find out, how does a 40-something mom from Minnesota decide to make the leap into the adult industry?
I know. Yeah. Well, no, thank you. Well, I used to be a dental hygienist, and then I just became, I guess, sort of during COVID then. I became basically, I started training at home, and I started getting bored. Like, my trainer was at my home working out, and I was like, oh, I look so hot. Like, I want to show off.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I was like, I have nothing to lose. I was like, literally, I've my shit is paid off. Like, I can go do what the heck I want. So I was like, I'm about to try to get naked on TV.
Were you in the swinger lifestyle or anything like that prior?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I did the OnlyFans for about the same time. So, yeah, I've done OnlyFans for 4 years, and then I just was doing, I don't know what I was doing. Actually, I don't know what I was doing. I had no real brand. I was just doing OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Because Twitter at that time, they kept shutting us down, remember?
Yes.
About 4 years ago, every damn time they would shut us down. And I was just like, okay, I guess I need another outlet.
Yeah. Did you have a huge social media following before you got
4 years
into
ago?
adult? Yeah.
I'd say, that's a good question. I'd say no, 20,000.
Okay.
That sounds rude, but that's, that's a good number for an average, civilian, but.
Right. And that's what I wondered, because it seems like a lot of times, and I totally believe it, you've got to have that following from somewhere that's going to transfer over to the fan site. And so I wondered if you had, through your workout material or anything like that, a huge social media following.
Yeah, funny. I mean, I was known for, can I say the word CUM?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I can bleep out anything.
Okay. I was known for the guys that I was dating and stuff. I was just taking pictures of their cum shots.
Yeah.
On my stomach on Twitter.
That's so funny. Oh.
And then, yeah. And so I got really known for cum shots, maybe.
Hey, you got to find your niche.
Yeah. Yeah. It was literally on my stomach, good old cum shots. And then and that's why Twitter kept banning me, because it was bodily fluid.
Right.
Yeah. And they're so picky about urine, blood, and, or any organic matter.
Yeah, that's right. So what struck me when I heard your story is about the fact that you got into the industry, and then your son had an issue with it. So you decided to go away. Is that correct? Did I read correctly?
Yeah, totally correct. Yeah.
Can you take us back to that day and kind of tell us a little bit about that? And the reason that strikes me as very interesting is I have an adult child son who disowned me because of my involvement in the adult industry. So I'd love to hear your story and how you guys worked through that.
Oh, that makes me so sad. Oh, that literally makes me so sad. It makes me tear up. I'm not a very teary person. I'm
Yeah,
probably a lot like you, just really direct,
I am.
and a mom and a fellow
Yep.
mother.
Yep.
So, just I'll bring it back, but it is very, 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 very hard to be a mom in this industry, and
Agreed.
and also a dad. And I want to say, like, there is not that many moms and dads in the actual adult industry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
at least in porn, there really isn't. If you look, all the MILFs that say they're MILFs, people are gonna be pissed off, but yeah, you're not a MILF. You're not a MILF if you're not a mom, because you haven't had to deal with the breaks, and
Yes.
also the busy life of being such a mom. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I go do my business and I come home. I have a large home. I got a pool. I mean, I'm doing very well for myself. I've got 6-bedroom home and dogs and cats, and I got 2 kids that live in it, which is a
Yeah.
daughter, but of course she's a little more nicer, a little bit, a little bit. I'll get into that too. And, so for me, I'm like, last night the Friday night we went bowling. Last night we went to the movies, go to lunch. I'm like fully involved mom, and I like it, but it's tough because people recognize me now. And
Right.
my, like, yesterday at lunch in Minneapolis where I live,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like taking phone calls and people are recognizing me, and his friends group, I mean, him and his friends group, it's awkward. It's awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me, because I'm like, oh hey, but then I have to be like, like, oh hey, like, just if I'm with my kids, it's like I want people to say hi to me, but I mean, I don't want them to get beat up by my
Right.
son.
Right. Right. Well, you want him to be disrespectful and tone it down.
Yeah, and I don't want the fans to get like, I
Yeah.
was just telling one of my cop buddies that lives here. I'll go back to the point, I promise. That my cop buddy, he lives here, and I'm going to do some ride-alongs and do some like podcasty stuff for like
Okay.
Instagram. And actually, I want to be a journalist, so I
Oh.
want you to be my new best friend.
I
um,
love it.
yeah, and so like, I was telling him that oh, I lost my train of thought
That's
about
okay.
the cop stuff. Yeah, it was just we were, he's always like interested. He's here in it. Oh, I was telling him because I have so many young men, women, and like I'm actually lucky because I have like a
Mhm.
security team at all times.
That's good. Yeah.
So back to my son, who is
Mhm.
a handsome, good-looking, very smart, and very blessed young man, because I have spoiled him because I feel bad of
Mhm.
who I am and the things that he has to endure.
Gotcha.
So I overcompensate, and I'm
Mhm.
aware of that. But when you're young and you don't have much else but social worlds
Right.
and your mother or your father, you do things to overcompensate, and I've done that. Now I know that that might not be great, but so he's an awesome dude, but he has the moments where it's hard,
Mhm. Mhm.
and he's called me horrible names.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm just being honest because there's
Yeah.
other women out there that deal with this, and
Yep.
men too. And so for me, um, I did like 3 Naughty Americas and MILF,
Mhm.
a bunch of MILF ones. I can't even remember. Now I want to say I did 24 movies in 2 months, like two and a
Wow.
half months. Like, yeah, real movies. Yeah, right away I did. And I was like, whoa, like I banged out all those, those.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and actually at 10 movies, I thought, stop, Piper, stop,
Mhm.
because your family is going to know you now.
Yeah.
And if I would have stopped, it would have been not as a big deal, but
Mhm.
I was having fun.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying new friends, new
Mhm.
communities. But, the back to the moment that, um, I had just gotten I just paid a lot of money in cash for a home.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I had a beautiful home, and he was 15 at the time.
Okay.
And now he's 17 and he's a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has 2 sports cars. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I said I'm the one who's got to. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not normal what he has to endure
Yeah.
due to pressures of social media, and it's a monster, but it's a necessary monster for us.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And
So he just, we were in our living room, and he just looked at me, and no one was around. So it was really brave of him to say
right.
something, because most people can't say things privately. They'll say things with publicly, but privately, he just said, "You're embarrassment."
Oh wow.
Yeah. And all he said was 2 sentences, and everybody's talking about you.
And how did you feel in that moment? Were you shocked to hear that?
No, I wasn't shocked.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me want to tear up, because I'm like, oh, I mean, I already had a substantial life, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 46 now. I was 44 then.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling like I needed to live a little. I was divorced from his dad, and I feel like I have a beautiful body.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to love attention.
Yep.
And thank you. And I heard what he said, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what to say. And I just listened, and I heard I
Yeah.
heard the pain of, essentially, like, almost like a suicidal pain.
Oh. Okay.
I heard the pain of a voice that was unstable and
Mm-hmm.
not certain. And I felt like if I continued, I don't know, he could hang himself. He could
Right.
kill
You don't
himself.
know. You don't know what's going through their mind. And so you took a step away for a
I
couple of years.
immediately quit. I immediately quit. Because my son's life, if he would have done anything to end his life, I would have, I don't know, or my daughter too,
Sure.
but she never approached me in that mannerism.
Mm-hmm.
He approached me in the one thing I love about men is they say stuff, and they say it, and they it, because
Yeah.
they have tiny little voices, all men around the world. And they don't often have the ability to emotionally connect all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so when men say things, mean it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, you're an embarrassment, and everybody's talking about you. And that meant to him,
Mm-hmm.
that meant he was being talked directly about his mom. And
Sure.
and at that age, he didn't have anything. He couldn't drive. In the state of Minnesota, you got to be 16 to get a license, excuse me.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't let him go down like that. I was like, no, like, I got to equip him with some armor.
Sure.
And that was my thought. I was like, well, when he's 16, the day he could get his permit, he got it. The day he could drive, with
Right.
the day of his birthday, he got
Mm-hmm.
a license. He already had cars before. I've let him drive. I'm like a chill person, but
Yeah.
so I made sure that he was equipped with, things that he could feel somewhat successful amongst my success.
Sure.
And yeah, and so, like, I didn't just dog him out. And with my daughter, I didn't just dog them out and go be selfish. And and that's partly the thing about being a parent, is like, it's hard to be a parent, but yet it's so great. But yet it's so, even for the
Yeah.
person who doesn't have money, it's so hard. It's probably, I don't know, dude. When I didn't have money, my life was way better. Like, it was way easier. Yeah,
Okay.
like, now that I have money,
Yeah.
people think money's better, but it's like, no, dude, like, I've got, like, so much to maintain. I've got 2 workers right now working for me.
Gotcha. Okay.
Literally, like, yeah, I can't maintain this big house. I'm never home. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not complaining, but more money, more problems. That's
It's true that you do hear that quite often. And so when you decided to make a comeback in 2024, had you and your family, your son, had kind of, had you worked through all those issues, and are there less issues now, I guess is the question.
Yeah. I don't think it'll ever be easy for my son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm, I seek a lot of counseling, but I actually have life coaches.
Uh-huh.
I tend to think that they dig a little deeper, and then they
Yeah.
tell me how they give me a perspective when
Sure.
counselors don't always do that. That's totally fine. I've had years and years of other counseling too. I love having deep conversations,
Mhm.
and also exploring other people's thoughts towards me and my brain together.
Mhm.
It's fun, it's fun to dig in. That's why you know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy that. Well, thank you for sharing that story. And I think it is important. There are, a fair amount of parents in the industry. And I think it's interesting how each one has, kind of managed that and dealt with it. So going forward, you had your big comeback in 2024. So tell us did you take a break on your OF then during that 2 years? Did you shut it down? Did you just keep it online? I mean, did you have to relaunch it? Tell us about coming back.
Yeah. So I did maintain the OF.
Mhm.
I've always been at about 1% to 1.5. It changes every day, as you
Sure.
probably know. And so I've always done like pretty decent on it. And it's a nice stable undercurrent to my other businesses.
Mhm.
But I came back maybe 3 months, 3 months, 3.5, 4 months now ago.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, okay. So how I got back was I constantly interjected who I was to my kids. Like, you might not like the things I do, but I love you and I'm here for you. And I kind of
Mhm.
just wanted to prove that I was there in some odd way, like that I wasn't going to leave them or change who I was,
Sure.
that I was going to be the same me, and that other people might not like what I do. It really was really me. And
Mhm.
it still is, because others are involved that I can't,
Sure.
what is it called, like collateral damage,
Yeah.
and they're not that, they're humans. So it's really weird, it's really really hard, and my heart sometimes is heavy, so I have to still have a lot of help. But I just always reintegrated like that, try to my daughter, she's funny, she's older, she's 24, but she does live with me. And she'll be like, "Oh yeah, mommy Piper." Yeah. so
That's
so
cute.
it is kind of cute. And sometimes she's jabbing, but she's being silly at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But she's making it relevant too. And I had a life coach, and I still have him in Tel Aviv, Israel. And he said, the more realistic you can make this for
Mhm.
your children, instead of hiding it, is going to be the better. And I thought, I'm like, you're tripping. Like, that's not real. Like, you're wrong. But actually, it is right.
Yeah.
And yes, in order, it's like, it's, instead of hiding, like,
Mhm.
it's almost like closeting your life, like, coming out of the closet. And I've
Yeah.
had to come out of the closet. I had to hide
Sure.
and be, I don't wear this. I mean, I am in my home, but I just took off my robe. You seen me have my robe on.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, because I'm highly aware that I must, and I have an extreme boundary. Women don't come in my home and film in my home. Men don't. I don't bring people into
Sure.
my family home.
Yeah.
Me personally, I mean, honestly, my kids would probably be like, "Who the you?" Because they're very direct like me.
Protective. Yeah.
Yeah, they're protective and direct, and but to get back into it, I just waited until my son had enough emotional strength, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
And emotional strength, and also like I literally got him two cars that are like so expensive. And I'm just like, and I told him on the second car, I said, dude, I'm doing this because I love you, and I'm like making a sacrifice. I could be having another property, and like, but I just want you to know, like, you're good, bro, and I'm always going to take care of you, even know who I am. Now, that's kind of buying love. But at this game,
Mhm.
I don't know what else to do. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I've essentially boxed in. Yeah, I'm buying love to a point, but you know,
Yeah.
he loves me, but it's interesting because the tension is still there. The
Mhm.
tension will probably always be there. I hope it gets better for me and other people, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that will ever be the case
Sure.
because because I'm always going to have this online image. Even if I quit, what are you going to do? You're going to dig me up. Your friends are going to
You
like
can't
me.
erase it forever on the internet, right?
Yeah, forever. I mean, we can have like I have a team that takes it down, but I
Yeah.
actually told them leave it up. Like,
There you go. Yeah, you just get to a point. So now that you're back, have you got a lot lined up with studios? And because you're in Minnesota, are you flying back and forth from LA a lot? You said you were traveling a lot.
yeah, well, I do fan meets.
Okay.
Okay, so I do that, but I do travel
Hmm.
every week, and I'm going to leave tomorrow. I did a couple gammas in the past couple
Yeah.
months, and
Nice.
I did milfy.com. And
Nice.
so, yeah. And so I actually don't know if I'm going to keep for filming. Not this is my own belief. So
Hmm.
I did that. I did all those, but I've actually been the funny thing is I was training for the acting part for Milfy because we all know that's like a big deal. It's like a big deal.
Yes.
And I had started acting classes to train for the role because I knew I couldn't remember lines
Hmm.
and I would get nervous and I needed to learn how to act.
Right.
So as I was training with my acting, I learned to act. And now the world might not like me for this, but uh, hmm, porn is not much acting. And even if you think you're gonna do acting in it, it's
Hmm.
it's not it's not allotted for that. And because we don't really know why you're here, what you're doing, and who are you.
Hmm.
You're just a fantasy and you're jumping right in and there may be a little bit of pool boy scene, but ah which is super
Sure.
fun. I'm a very intimate person. I love sex. I love it. I love to be pleasured. I love to be worshipped. But as far as porn goes, I'm gonna like pull back a little bit
Sure.
and be more of a creator. I'm also with a company called Creators Inc. And
Okay.
and every month we go to like last week we were in New York.
Nice.
The week before we were in excuse me, the month before we were in Miami and then uh state. So we do skits. We do
Okay.
skits. And we do like fun little skits. And I really want to encourage people to do that. Like not
Yeah.
just that. Like you can still do the adult work, but as
Hmm.
you do things, it's not just bouncing up and down. I had my acting class this morning with my teacher on Zoom.
Hmm.
And I reintegrated to her what I wanted to show because I want to be the gap between I want people to see that they can do more and be more. We don't just sit and bounce our butts and our breasts. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't get that. Like,
Okay.
I can't. I think the women are beautiful and the men, but we're more than that. Then do a beautiful catwalk, or do a silly skit where you're like looking at someone and you're like, you don't really need to bounce. We
Yeah.
don't really need. And it's heartbreaking as a mom to think that we are just we're demoralizing ourselves, women for sure. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And they're so beautiful. They're far more beautiful than me. And I love that. I love beautiful people. I love making other people beautiful. So then, and men, it's like we don't have to do all that. You can sell a porn movie and my God, like we don't even need to release trailers, I don't think. Like the trailers we're used to making are like completely explicit. They're 30 seconds on Twitter. That's like the known thing. 30-second Twitter. And
Right.
you're gonna watch that. You're gonna watch that. And I'm just like, why did I ever because I'm following in suit. And I've been following, and I'm a person too that did lots of explicit stuff for complete free. But dude, we got to pull back a little bit. You fanboys, you don't need everything. You need to wait. You need to wait for it. Wait for it. Have patience. But we're so instant second.
gratification. Yeah.
I mean, and us, we got to pull back too. If we all stop jiggling and just showing everything right away, we would have a different world a little bit.
Is Creators Inc. a adult company, or is it a safe for work type of thing? I'm not familiar with it.
It's a safe for work thing.
Okay. And I have a comment about the explicit stuff. So as an older creator, mature creator, I didn't get into this industry till I was 53. That was one of my things, was not showing POV close up of, the whole thing. And actually, my co-stars have to sign something that says they won't put it on social media, or Pornhub or any of that close-up genital shots, because like you said, you've given it all away. Why, but there's two camps on that, because I have talked with studio owners I've had on the show, and they say no, that kind of explicit trailer gets people to want to see more. So
I know
two camps
yeah,
on
you're
that.
right. Well, there's a book out called 1,000 Fans. I think we need to worry about 1,000 fans, not 100,000.
Gotcha. Ooh, that sounds like a good book. I'm going to make note of that.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. And like, we need to go back to that concept of, now I know I'm older too, I'm 46, but it just, if you do a scroll on Twitter and you see it all, you're like, ew. Like, I mean, they're beautiful women, but I'm not kidding. And men, it's like, ew, oh.
Yeah.
Mommy doesn't like it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't even scroll Twitter anymore.
You can't do it in public. Don't do it in public.
Yeah, it's going to be like,
don't open that up.
Yeah.
So going forward, so 2025, then it sounds like you're saying you're going to have less studio shoots and produce more of your own content. Is that going to be for OnlyFans then?
Yes. So actually what I've been doing on my own, yes, I'm not going to do as much studio stuff, because when I did Milfy, and it's going to probably come out in a month.
Yeah.
I had a realization that kind of was a little, and what it was is, while it's a wonderful company and they treated me absolutely wonderful, and it was beautiful in, like, I don't know, $50 million home that we're shooting in Hollywood. It was wonderful. But I had that morning to read my script, my pages of script, which, it's like, I had that morning to read it. I didn't know my character. And as I've been being taught acting, I was a little bit like, after I realized that I might not have portrayed my true image.
Gotcha.
And while those filming studios are important to show off who we are, I don't know if I actually had my character out there. And now, so I had this realization that, I don't know if I really am that interested in doing a part of a movie.
Gotcha.
And so I think I didn't do a great job with my character. I don't think I did a great job with my character. And I never gave a I never watched any of the movies before that I've made. I haven't watched them, and I didn't care, but this time I care, because how I showed up to fans, and also, listen, my kids watch porn, all right? I've seen them walked in watching porn, right? And that's just how it is. If I thought about it, if they're going to watch stuff, they're not going to watch my stuff. I'm not their genre. I know that. I want them to think if it's realistic or not.
Sure.
And if I'm part of, so that's why I'm like, I want to show to be more organic and authentic. And if I'm part of that side, I don't know if I want to be part of the totality side of so much fake, so much the way that love is made, and sex, and those stories, and treating women a certain way, and women being like, I'm just a sex doll. It's like, no, I mean, I am a sex doll, but but 50-50 with sex doll. And like, I am a person, and if and this is how you treat women, and this is how you
Okay.
treat men. And so I want to just, I want to do like journalist stuff. I told my cop buddy, I'm
Yeah,
going to start
tell me
interviewing
about that.
people.
Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do ride-alongs with my cop buddy, and he does the DEA, so this is gonna be good. And he's got a lady cop boss, and he says, "Yeah, you can ride along, but I don't know if he's gonna let Piper in there. He might let my real name. Piper's not my
Yeah.
real name. This other person in there." And I thought, "Oh, why can't you tell him I have two characters?" He's like, "Well, the lady boss might not like it, but she's fine with the real you." And then he said, "She probably knows you. I might have told her that." And I was like, "Oh, great." And but I want to pop out and then I have an NFL. I have a lot of NFL and NBA friends, but I talked to an NBA friend
Mhm.
yesterday, and he had somebody who passed away a few years ago, and I said, "Dude, oh, I want to tell you something really important." And I said, "Dude, I want to interview you. What can you tell me about the passing and how you felt and who you really were? I want to know about you.
Mhm.
I don't really care who you really are, but due to the fact that social media wants famous people on there every time on commercial ad and everything. They only want famous people, but they're missing out on great talent. And we've got to come back to reality here. Because the McDonald's worker that I could interview versus an NBA player is going to be the same say, but people want famous people, you know?
Right.
And it
Do you
might
think
be
you'll do
better.
it will you do it as a podcast then or more like a series?
I don't know. I'd love your help on that.
Sure.
Maybe a podcast.
Yeah.
And so my friend's like, "Yeah, I'll totally do it." And I was like, and I bet I don't even know if anyone's ever asked him to talk about the passing, but what was
Sure.
so I want to tell you something. 1 year ago, February 12th last year, my sister died.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry to hear that.
Yes. Thank you. But the thing is I'm not a person who believes death is death. So
Okay.
I'm a part Native American, and
Mhm.
I've always had a really earthly feeling. I'm very connected to literally the dirt.
Mhm.
And actually, um, when she died,
Mhm.
I actually took a part of her energy and her spirit, and that's how I became stronger.
Gotcha. And I think I heard you in another interview say that's what kind of spurred you to
Yes.
come back and be who you
Yes.
wanted to be
Yes.
Piper and show that to the world.
Yes. So my sister lived very suppressed, and
Okay.
her two children are like now my children, and one of the
Mhm.
kids is 19, and I know he was just over, and I love him, and oh God, is he struggling because his mother is gone. And my sister's death is, for me,
Mhm.
she didn't like technically leave me. I actually took part of her and I became
Sure.
stronger. And I don't know how it was possible, but because I live in truth, and I
Yeah.
also live in our we live in this is a that we live in a 3D, we live in like a third dimension. We see 3D basically as a human. We don't know we know there's things in the air. We take an x-ray of teeth like I used to do in
Yeah.
dentistry, and you get this image over here and you're like, I mean, I'm talking to you, you're in whatever state.
Oregon.
Oregon, that's what I thought. Portland, I saw that. And then you're in Oregon and I'm in Minnesota, we're talking, but actually I know she's part of like crystals and energies and lights.
Mhm. Okay.
And so when if people like fans and meets and stuff, like
Mhm.
I'm like, wait, because a lot of people are suffering with death and loss.
Right.
And when I've never felt like a death is actually imminent. It's literally like it's another dimension. We don't know where it's at. Is the human body gone? Yeah, it's gone.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that energy is bounced somewhere. And to keep that energy alive is interesting. And I have chosen to keep her alive. I never
Mhm.
not talk about her to her children and my mother. My mother is completely crushed. I'm always talking about her.
Yeah.
She's with me. The night she died, I was in Boston and I had a fly me to you.
Okay.
And my daughter called me and she goes, Mom, your sister's not going to make it. And I'm like, okay, dude, I just flew into Boston and I'm working all night. I'm like, I don't know. Stop it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I thought she meant make it over to her house or our
Oh.
house. I make it. I don't know. Right. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like, I didn't, I'm with the client who was giving me a lot of money. And she's like, Mom calling me and she's like, no, Mom, she's not going to make it. I'm like, dude, I'm serious. Like, stop doing this to me. You're like, tell her to, what are you guys trying to make? Where is she not going to go to? She's because she lived very suppressed. She
Okay.
hated herself.
Uh,
She, she loved herself, but she hated herself. She
mm-hmm.
chose to like smoke blunts and chill. She didn't choose to go have a big life with lots of money and fancy cars like her sister did. And that is okay for people to choose that life. That is absolutely okay. And I would, 10 years ago, I told her, I said, sister, if this is how you want to live, this is how you want to live. If you're happy just chilling and playing with your cats all day and you don't have grand financial plans, that's fine.
Right.
And if anybody wants to say anything, they don't get to, don't believe them. Certain people in my family used to poke at her, and I'm so glad that, 10 years ago, I mean, I used to be part of that. People would talk about her. They're like,
Mm,
oh, I wonder if she's coming to Christmas. And then
right.
he was like, dude, if she comes, she comes. I mean, who are you you don't live her life.
Right.
And because she lives so suppressed, I'm going to live for those people. And I'm living with her. So that night in Boston, I told
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was talking to my daughter texting, but when I
Yeah.
realized she died, there's a very famous client, his named Boston Boy. He's actually all online, and actually I tagged him
Wow.
before. And like clients become famous too, okay? Like he's seeing
Yeah.
4,000 women. I did a YouTube on him.
Oh,
And
really? I'll have to find that.
yes, I did a YouTube on him. He's the greatest guy. He's so kind. He's this real nice Boston guy. And he's seen 4,000 women in the industry. I
Wow.
think all of his money goes to women. And it's like, I told him I don't consider it a hobby word because I'm not, so
Right.
I don't actually appreciate that word. I'm not a fan of that word. I just don't. So
Hobbyist. Yeah.
I've never liked it. It's fine if
Yeah.
people like it. It's a word. I don't latch onto words.
Yeah.
I'm not a word latcher. I'm my own visionary. So I tried to get through the appointment and then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I actually had to end it early, obviously, and grab a new
Yeah.
flight home. But in the middle of the night, when I was like laying down, I had an entire, almost like Mother Mary, a dark image, but it wasn't a dark feeling. Go over the bed, and
Wow.
mhm, and it was a happy, happy energy of my sister, and she basically said she was fine. She didn't say she left. She said she
Yeah.
was fine. And the only sense of pain I could feel from her was my nephew. I could hear her saying his name
Yeah.
and I could hear the name. And then, and she has a daughter, but I just told her that I'll take care of him and I'll love him. And, that's what I got to do. I take care of lots of people. I have
Yeah.
a house with like 10 kids in it at every weekend and at least 4 on the weekdays. And
Wow.
yeah,
You're
and
busy
that's,
then.
yeah, I'm really busy. I'm really busy. But yeah, so
So
I
for
live with her.
I
I
like
live with
that
her.
that you're kind of carrying on her her spirit and that kind of thing. S- So for the rest of the year then, you're traveling, doing some fly me to yous, but are you doing shoots for your fan site or are you kind of just letting that be?
Oh no, I'm very active on my fan sites.
Mm-hmm.
On my OnlyFans,
Yeah.
the Piper Press. I actually started doing daily updates on me, what I'm doing.
I love that. And fans like that kind of thing.
Yes, and they stay for that. Listen, we don't need 100,000 fans, We
Right.
need a few loyal fans, not a few. I mean, we all know we can have one shark. Shark means they pay they
Right.
they
Right. Right.
they pay big because they love us and we love them.
It's
I'm like,
creating that intimate I mean that to me that's what the fan site's supposed to be. They kind of see that behind the scenes stuff that they aren't going to see in the curated social media posts.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, that's
exactly.
awesome. That is
Yeah, and I feel like
awesome.
that's, and so just doing more organic, natural things. Like,
Mhm.
I haven't posted on Instagram. I've been posting my family on there a little bit, my cats and
Uh-huh.
dogs. I think we got to go back to being natural and
Yeah.
normal. Yeah, because it's relatable and it's real and people want to know what we're thinking. That's why I love doing these podcasty interviews, because
Yeah.
where else am I going to talk? There's no
Right.
platforms. There's nowhere to talk,
Right. Right.
and
That's
that's
why I
just
love
not enough.
having guests on, because I want to hear what they're doing. I want to know about you. So this has been awesome. I
Yeah,
loved getting to know you more.
I
And
know.
thank
Me
you
too.
for sharing those raw emotions and raw feelings. I appreciate it.
I know. I appreciate you too. And I hope, can you tell about your son or not on live?
Oh, I've talked about it quite a bit. I'm pretty open about it. Yeah. I was outed to my adult children. And yeah, one of my kids decided that they didn't agree with it, and it was I grieved it. It's like a death. You grieve that death when they disown you. Um, but I hold out hope that maybe someday they'll come around, and I respect them for making a decision and standing by it. That's what I taught my kids, growing up. If you really believe in something, you know, stand behind it. And so we'll work through it hopefully someday. And if we don't, we don't. You kind of have to let it go. Otherwise, it'll destroy you.
It'll absolutely destroy you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I mean, it's hard to live with humans. It's interesting because
Mm-hmm.
the ones closest to you hurt you the most. And I think
Right.
everybody can relate to that.
That's what they
And
say.
yeah, and it's just so interesting because you just think, wow, like my couple kids, how they think about me or the things they say to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes my son and daughter can say very ruthless things to me when they're in a moment of rage,
Right.
when they're
Right.
emotionally unstable. But I know it's not serious or meant. It's just an emotional response.
Yeah.
But it's things that they're thinking, like names they want to think about anybody, any woman who does what I do. It's not really about me. It's about them. And
Yeah.
it's about them, and that they can't process and they're in pain. And I feel for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, I'm so good. It's like, can't you see that I'm good? Can't you see that? Like, I'm not going to change. I'm still your mom. And
Right.
I love you. And I want the rest of the world. I want you to see what the rest of the world sees. The rest of the world loves us.
Yeah.
They love us. And we love ourselves, and that's what they see. The children don't see something, and they're missing it in their brain. But
Mm-hmm.
I hope to God that, other parents who are dealing with it, that, I think always having the hard conversation is
Yeah.
so important. I realize that, oh, this 2025, I'm going to live with no fear. No more fear. I'm not going to give away my fear. I'm
I
not
love
going to give away my fear to anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Your
even this
power.
morning,
Yeah.
I'm not giving away my power. I have a power dichotomy, and I'm not going to do that. And nobody should do that. You got to take it back. And if you feel a certain way respectfully, you say it.
I love that. I love that. Well, as we close out, tell people where they can find you. What's the
Okay.
best way to contact you? I know you have a nice website. I checked it out.
Yeah, well, my website is the Piper Press, and then so is my OF. It's the Piper Press. And then I'm always on Instagram and Twitter, but I don't know why I have a Piper Press MN for Minnesota, but
Yeah,
I was feeling myself.
I love that. Good, wholesome Midwestern.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking
Yeah,
the time to be on. I loved getting to know you more.
me too. I love getting to know you. And thanks for our wonderful fans too. And you guys
Yeah.
got to comment and say what you think and what you want to know about mommy. Oh, one more thing. I'm an extreme role player. I love role playing. Just
Mm-hmm.
like you want to know about your fans and everyone. That's why you
Yeah.
do this. we want to know about them too, though, don't we? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's like, dudes, give us more than a comment of like, so hot, love you, mommy. I love all that. But like, it's like, why?
Yeah.
Tell us
I love
why.
knowing that too. I love
I know
knowing
you
that.
do.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks again. And I
Thank
am
you.
wishing you all the success as I know everyone else is in 2025. And I can't wait to see what you're coming up with.
Thank you. You too.